Brace yourself since winter is coming to Hyrule. Hello everyone, this is the Commonwealth realm with a completely new series, Zelda Unknown. This series, which I intend to upload each other week, will continue until E3 in June and cover and discuss in detail the many different regions and which kind of features such as size and activities and aspects that are likely to appear in the world of Zelda Wii U. In this first episode, we will cover the possibility for the return of one of the least utilized regions throughout the Zelda franchise, the winter area, or more specifically the surrounded with mystery Snowpeak, which has only appeared once to this point in the Zelda universe. And the first hint of a likely return of this region derives from the gameplay footage from the Game Awards, where while Mr. Anuma was presenting the gigantic world map, I immediately caught interest to the northwestern corner of the map, which heavily resembles the one of Snowpeak from Twilight Princess. Furthermore, what is truly interesting is that winter-themed regions have only appeared in Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess and Four Swords Adventures, all of them being a part of the child hero timeline. Is this a coincidence, or could it be a sign of some kind of connection between all of these games? I will therefore, before jumping on ideas and theories about the winter region in Zelda Wii U, go through the most memorable winter-themed regions throughout the series: Snowhead from Majora's Mask and Snowpeak from Twilight Princess. Traditionally, throughout the Zelda series, a region has been completed in a set order, which I would divide in 3 different sections. The first being pre-dungeon questing, in order to find and access the region's dungeon or temple. The second being the dungeon itself, acquiring a central item for that dungeon and using that item to defeat the boss which lurks in it. And the third and final part being the post-dungeon activities and completing side quests. Snowhead in Majora's Mask was featuring a great and emotional pre-dungeon quest involving obtaining the Lens of Truth, helping out the deceased Goron hero Darmani, obtaining the Goron mask, and ultimately learning the Goron's lullaby in order to be granted access to the dungeon Snowhead Temple. The whole winter region is vast and divided into 4 entities: Snowhead, the mountain village, the lake leading up to the Goron village, and the Goron village, which seems so out of place in this winter setting, which makes a striking impact on the player. The dungeon Snowhead Temple marks a step up in quality and difficulty which is present overall in Majora's Mask. The puzzles are clever, and both the Goron mask, the Lens of Truth, and fire arrows which are obtained in the dungeon are gracefully implemented from the moment you enter the temple all the way to the fight with this dungeon's boss. The boss battle against Goth is the most unique and fun throughout the series, where you literally are chasing, racing a possessed mountain goat looking robot, a fight which is memorable for its gameplay mechanic and the utilization of the Goron mask. The post-dungeon activities and the quests involving the Frog Mask side quest, the mini-quest for the Gilded Sword involving the powder keg selling Goron, and the Goron racetrack are great additions which makes this region worthy of several repeated visits. The second winter-themed region to have appeared on a console Zelda game is Snowpeak from Twilight Princess. And in fact, this is my favorite region in the game, and this was notable for its great variety and lovable characters of the Yeti race, Yeto and Yeta. The The pre-dungeon quest consists of fishing for the reek fish, implementing the wolf senses to navigate through a snow blizzard, meeting the friendly Yeto the Yeti at the top of Snowpeak, and sliding down to Snowpeak ruins on an ice flake. This dungeon, or more specifically mansion or house, is the most unconventional and one of the most memorable throughout the Zelda series. One of the most noticeable differences from other dungeons is that you are in fact inside the house of the Yetis, and where the search for the bedroom key results in collecting ingredients for the soup Yeto is preparing, and then gradually being granted access to the following rooms by Yeta the Yeti. The Yetis, and more specifically Yeta, are central to the dungeon plot, opening new paths for Link and following you inside the bedroom, where she is finally corrupted by the Twilight Mirror Shard and turns into the dungeon boss, Blizzetta. The final unique feature is that after defeating her, we are in fact not killing her, but instead we are witness to a heartwarming love scene between Yeto and Yeta. The post-dungeon activities are, however, limited to a downhill race involving ice flakes sliding down the mountain against Yeto and Yeta for a heart piece, and using the acquired ball and chain to get across to some treasure chests, and some minor side activities within the region. With that, I think it is time to share some thoughts and ideas about which kind of features and aspects Snowpeak in Zelda Wii U should consist of, based on the information we have from the E3 reveal, the Game Awards gameplay presentation, and the different quotes given by Mr. Eiji Aonuma and Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto. I decided to divide these into 5 following categories. The first one being the geographical aspect and the region itself, followed by the towns and the villages, the different races, the wildlife, and finally, the dungeon. Eiji Aonuma has previously stated that they began creating the vast world of Zelda Wii U by deciding to make one region in the game accumulate to the approximate size of the entire overworld in Twilight Princess. This means that if Snowpeak returns, it potentially could become an entire country, which can take up to 20 minutes to cross on foot. This huge and possibly dramatical landscape lays the basis for an entire realm of possibilities. As mentioned previously, the northwestern area on the Wii U gamepad map appears to have a striking similarity to the shape of Snowpeak from Twilight Princess. For a better comparison, I have put the two maps side by side to illustrate this more clearly. In terms of outdoor activities involving the geographical structure, the following should be included. Vast mountain ranges with climbable or conquerable mountain peaks, skiing or ice flake sliding throughout the area, hunting, and some really creative tweaks and gameplay mechanics. One of the other mechanics that has been highlighted in the Zelda Wii U footage are the lights, wind and weather effects, which are dynamic and depend on the landscape and the height of the terrain. And if there's one region with great benefits to showcase the next-gen weather effects on the Wii U, then it will be the winter area, with realistic weather conditions such as snow blizzards, heavy wind currents, rapidly changing weather, and stunning visuals from the mountain peaks. Nevertheless, there might be an even more revolutionary way to demonstrate the power of the Wii U in a mountainous winter area through one of the greatest sky phenomena, the Aurora Borealis or Northern Lights. To illustrate this with a specific example, imagine playing as Link reaching the top of the highest peak and be witness to an incredible visual spectacle of light playing out right above your head. There should be a mountain town or village in Zelda Wii U with a touch of cultural blend from either Japanese or European mountain folklore. A potential mountain town should not be too large, but still have enough content to involve the player in terms of the main quest, side quests, minigames, getting the right equipment to traverse the harsh conditions in the region, and most importantly, interactivity with the local inhabitants. Dynamic NPCs are in this case a must, and it would be fine to see Hylian Highlanders with a different accent or version of the Hylian language. The races that so far have been implemented in winter areas in Zelda games are Gorons and Yetis. However, in Zelda Wii U, I believe that the Gorons belong to Death Mountain, and that the return of the Yeti race would make much more sense to add depth to a potential winter-themed landscape. Despite only appearing once in the series, the Yetis have left a lasting impact on the franchise with their great character representation in form of Yeto and Yeta. In Twilight Princess, the Yetis were introduced to as beasts, but turned out to be both kind-hearted and generous with emotions and their broken version of the Hylian language. If this race is to make a return in Zelda Wii U, then I desire the following: 2 drastically different versions of the Yetis, where some are helpful and kind-hearted, and others see Link as an intruder, an enemy in their land, and might collaborate with the villain of the game. From the gameplay footage during the Game Awards, we saw the heavy emphasis that wildlife might have in Zelda Wii U. We have already been introduced to goats, deers and wild horses, and each region should reflect and have a unique and specific wildlife typical for that area's landscape and weather conditions. This will immediately add some more depth if hunting and upgrading based on wildlife is a part of the game. The mountain area should therefore have wildlife which would reflect the regions such as mountain goats, snow leopards, reindeers, wolves, eagles and bears. Each of these would fit the area perfectly and bring some much needed life and tension, in addition to being an important part of hunting and upgrades in the game. AG Anuma and Nintendo EAD Group Number 3 are masters when it comes to create both unique and solid dungeons, Snowpeak Ruins and the Ancient Cistern being just 2 great examples from the most recent console Zelda games. The only thing I want to add is that finding the dungeon temple in the Snowpeaks should be a quest of itself throughout the mountains, and that the dungeon should be both unconventional, compelling, and in some extent utilize ice mechanics and puzzles. The winter region in Zelda Wii U has merely scratched the surface of the potential the region inherits, since they have only appeared twice in the 3D Zelda games. This marks a sea of unused possibilities related to aspects such as geography, landscapes, weather effects, urban environments, races, wildlife and the dungeon itself. I just want to add that this region is perfect for in-game surprises, similar to how the Sand Sea was a highlight for many in Skyward Sword. In this regard, I however must agree to YouTube member Matthewmatosis in his The Legend of Zelda comparison video, link in the description below, where he states the importance of not ruining the surprise element in advance of the game's release, which was the case with the Sand Sea. Before I sign out, I would like to get some input from you in the comment section on content and the features that you think should be implemented in Zelda Wii U. I will feature the names of those that will contribute in the end of the next episode. That is all for this episode of Zelda Unknown. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be highly grateful if you would want to like, share, comment and subscribe, since each of these in-depth videos takes a lot of time and effort to produce. The next episode of Zelda Unknown will be uploaded on January 22nd and cover the region of Lanayru or Gerudo Desert. Until then, this has been the Commonwealth Realm, and I will see you later.